Hi, it's Curry Country Living. My name's Greg. My wife Tracy and I run a bed and breakfast here in southern Manitoba. I like to dabble in things that interest me. The wood stove behind me heats both my barn and my house. It's a 3444 BL Portage Main unit. Absolutely love this stove. But I'm here to talk to you about what I have on the back of it, which is a boiler commander. And Travis, my dealer, approached me last March. It was late in the year, late February, early March, and asked if I could try this thing out and see what I thought of it. So the end of the season last year, we're not getting any of the temperatures we are now. I wasn't able to give it a real fair test. I'm starting to get into some colder weather now. As I speak, we had minus 30 degrees Celsius last night, which is about minus 22. For the next little while, we're looking at those minus 25 to minus 30 temperatures at night with a balmy minus 15 to minus 20 degrees Celsius during the day. So I have an intro into an intro. The video you're about to see was shot last year in 2024 at the end of the season, like I say, March, and I did a little bit in the summer, and now it's all together. So this is part one. Travis is going to come out hopefully at the end of January, early February, and we're going to talk about what he sees in other stoves. Myself personally, you'll see what I think of it at the end of the video here, so have a look. Hey, it's Greg from Curry Country Living, and welcome. I haven't talked about my boiler for quite a while, and something came up that I thought maybe this might be an opportunity to make a video. I'm standing in front of a 3444 BL series Portage Main wood stove. This is the second full year. Today is, by happen to be, February the 29th, 2024, and as I say, this is getting towards the end of the second season I've had this stove. Absolutely love this stove. I've had a wood boiler since 1990. I've had 2 or 3 different stoves over the years. You can go back into my YouTube channel and take a look. But in this episode, I'm not going to be talking so much about this stove as what I've got in the back of the stove. I was approached by my dealer, Travis Outen, about a boiler commander, and I didn't really know too much about it. And quite honestly, I still don't know too much about it. He wanted to know if I wanted to try it just to see what I thought. Some of the advantages to it is it's supposed to be able to reduce the amount of wood that you burn, which any wood boiler guy is always after. Less wood to burn, less work, overall less just maintenance. So this apparatus in the back, like I say, I don't know too much about. I've talked to Travis about how to put it in. I've talked to the fellow, a guy by the name of Joe, who's designed this. He's into automations, and he's heavy into making things better and tweaking, and he's got all that scientific stuff behind it. So I'm gonna just, in this episode, you're just gonna see me putting it in, and I'll maybe talk a little bit about some of the advantages that they're saying that this thing can do. And they say it's quite simple to put together, but they didn't give me too much instructions. Joe gave me a video. I understand the general concept. I keep telling people I have enough knowledge to make myself dangerous. So we'll see how easy this thing's to put together. Let's go in the back and have a look. All right, so we're at the back of my stove, and basically what we have here is a boiler commander. It comes in it was shipped to me in a box, comes in a container that's self-contained. They tell me it's waterproof. It comes with some wiring, and this is where the part that I can get myself into trouble with it, but they didn't come with any diagram map. But they tell me it's fairly simple to put together, so I'll let you know by the end of the video. So right now, I'm going to place this boiler commander here, just at the side of my stove here. And that part's going to be pretty self-explanatory. Basically, I'm just going to use some self-tapping screws. I've talked to the guys to the right-hand side. Standing at the back of the stove is probably the best place to put this on a 3444. Yeah, so let's get started. So I've got that commander on, and there's one of those things when you don't have all the tools you need. So Something that would have really helped me here is an extension for my impact, just to get deep enough in there for those sheet metal screws. Actually, I wasn't able to get the top ones because I can't get the drill in far enough, but I did get 2 on the bottom, so I just screwed them in the bottom, and I'll have to get 2 more for the top. Well, actually, I have the screws. I just need an extension for my drill, and what was going on there was you just can't quite get in there. So I'm sure if I was doing this a second time, it'd be a lot easier. But anyways, I got that on there. For all you A-type people, no, I didn't level it up and do all that kind of stuff, but I need to get this done today. So anyways, I know for sure, talking to Travis and Joe, that this is the temperature probe, and this is what's going to be measuring the temperature of the smoke that comes out of the chimney at the back of my wood stove. And temperatures normally can range anywhere from 500 degrees right up to 1500 or 1800 degrees, depending on what kind of wood and what kind of fire you got going in there. And the whole idea behind the boiler commander is to level out those exhaust temperatures. So I know, but later on I'll be able to set my whatever I want my stock temperature to be. Talking to the guys, it sounds like around that 500 to 600 degree Fahrenheit range is. So right now I'm going to drill a hole in the middle of that and stick that in. There's a little nut on the end, and I'm going to take the cap off and put that on. So that's what I'm about to do right now. There is I drilled a hole into the side of my chimney, the part that comes out of the stove, and there is a nut in there. You can see there's a nut, but I don't know whether that's deep enough to go through or not on the inside, and I'd hate to make that hole big and then get it sloppy. It's actually in there pretty good right now, but yeah, so that basically will be registering the temperature of the stack when we get everything hooked up. And I'll maybe talk to the guys, but I could put that all the way through. But that's pretty thick. I don't think I want to do that. So it looks like I need to empty out my chimney as well. But so right now we're just going to go with that. And yeah, now the fun part starts. So this cable right here, the one that has the plug-in on it, pretty straightforward. I can just put that right into the plug-in outside here, and that's going to power everything in. So that one's taken care of and already done. These next two, I'm going to have to stop and watch the video that Joe sent me, because I know I got to take this junction box off in here, and there's going to be some wires. So I'm going to go into the barn, I'm going to turn off the power to the wood stove, and I'm going to open that up, and we're going to see what's in there. And I'm going to take a few minutes just to watch that video and see exactly what I'm tying into. All right, so there's a little bit of a challenge putting that together. I checked the wiring with Joe and Travis, and I believe I have it running. So right now I just started up the stove again after having it sit idle for a while. So I think what it's telling me here is that stock temperature is about 164, and it should start idling down if the stock temperature gets above 500. I believe that's what happens. So, and then right now my thermostat, my aquastat, showing 156. I have it set for, I believe it's on at 165, off at 175, and yeah, so it's going to bring it up to temp. So the stove was sitting for quite a while, and while I was putting this together, but so far it's running. And I'm going to try this thing for a few weeks, basically right now I'm heating the house on this wood stove, and we have an Airbnb in the loft of the barn. And quite honestly, I don't use the wood stove when I have people in the Airbnb, just because I don't like the possibility of the stove going out, and when I'm not around, it's just a lot handier to switch it over to hydro. Right now the barn is on the wood heat, but when people come, I just switch it over to hydro, and then I don't have to worry about whether I get home in time or not. So if I'm away for more than 12 hours at a time. So my normal routine with my wood stove has been, in the morning I get up sometime between 5 and 7 in the morning, and usually go out and stoke it twice a day. Yesterday I put on a boiler commander, and some of the things that advantages to it we'll talk about later, and I'm giving this thing a try. So I'm changing my routine on my boiler from stoking twice a day, and usually towards temperature. And by that I mean, you know, if it's going to be very, very cold out, I'll stoke it for what I feel would be a 12-hour burn, and if it's warmer, of course, I use less wood and put it in that way. With the boiler commander, they've suggested that I stoke it right full and let the commander take care of taking all the fluctuations out. And one of the big things with the commander is it goes by the flue temperature on the stove. So I'm going to flip this camera around, and you can see that the commander is set for a flue temperature of 450. I'm going to start off with that. It's easy to change. And right now the flue temperature is about 144. So and it kind of keeps it around that 450, either by varying the fan speed up or down. And it's all connected to the fan inside in the boiler. So with my water temperature, I have mine set to come on at 170, off at 180. So it looks like it might have just cut off there a little while ago. Like I say, this is the first time I've used this. So it's only been installed for less than 14 hours. So we're going to go around to the front and take a look. I stoked this stove, this Portage Main 3444, brick lined. What I would consider about 80 to 90% full. I'm going to open up this door here and see what it looks like inside. So this is what it looks like. I think I stoked it yesterday about 6 o'clock, and it's about 8 o'clock now, so this is about 14 hours. It's not very cold outside. And one of the things that they have mentioned is, you know, let that ash bed accumulate. You know, don't worry about burning all the ashes out. So I'm going to come back tonight after work, and we'll see what it looks like then, and we'll stoke it up, and yeah, give it a real run for its money. It's 5 o'clock. It's been about a 24-hour burn on the stove. We'll open it up and see what it looks like. Hasn't been cold today. It would be hovering around, oh, I don't know, plus 1 or 2 Celsius, or 36, 37 degrees Fahrenheit. And we'll take a look. Yeah. So I'm going to rake those coals down and level it out. There's still quite a bit of ash and stuff in there. At the back of the stove here, where the boiler master is, we'll see what it's registering. So it's looking like it's 359 to 58, 57 degrees on the flue, and 70% or 70. And when I look down here, I've got about 176. The fan will cut off at 180, so it's bringing it up to temp now. I don't know how long it's been running as I got home. But yeah, let's load that stove up and see what it looks like tomorrow. Well, I'll speak loud because I don't have an external mic on my GoPro, and there's a little bit of wind happening right now. And this is my morning routine now. Since I've got the boiler, I'm basically just checking just to see what things are doing. So I've been stoking once a day, filling it right up to what I consider between that 75 and 80% mark. Whenever you open up these stoves, doesn't matter what kind of stove you have, and I've been caught a couple of times. Actually, I think I have some footage I can show you. But when you open up these doors on the Portage Main, you can see that they have a lock mechanism so that when you open the door, you can actually get air going in there and it can't blow open on you. But you can get some backdraft happening if you're not careful. So always a good idea to step back from the door, let that smoke hit a couple of times in case that there's some flashback, and then we can take a look. So this is something that the guys were talking about, and this is the first time I've seen it. So this wood's been in here for, I'm gonna say, I stoked it last night at 6, it's 8, so 14 hours. This wood's been in there for 14 hours. And they talked about building up that ash bed, or I'm sorry, that coal bed on the bottom, and getting it fairly deep. And I think I just fogged my lens up. I did. Anyways, the top wood's not getting, you don't get that huge flame happening through there. You get more of the heat going through the coals. So you can see that now on that. This is the first morning after 3 days that I've actually really seen that in effect. So I had the wood up to about, oh, I don't know, this height here yesterday, and it's come down. I think I might have that on video. So yeah, so that's exciting to see. And then on the back, I should have taken a picture before, but basically there wasn't any smoke coming out of the chimney because nothing's running. So right now you can see that the flue temperature is at 113, and that 450 is what it's set at. I have my boiler set to shut on, to come on, to cycle at 170, and it shuts off at about 180. So yeah, that's it after day 3. So right now the wife and I and the dog are gonna go for a Manitoba spring walk. And yeah, something that happened different with the stove. So my wife and I went out on date night last night, went out for a nice supper and meal, and so I didn't stoke the stove at my regular between 5 and 6 time. Got home about 8 or 9 last night, went to stoke the stove, turned the fan off, and found that I couldn't because there was so much heat coming out of the wood chamber. Even with the fan off, the coals were so hot, there was so much, I just leveled them off. And anyways, long story short is I got about a 36-hour burn. This is about 36 hours after stoking it. The water temperature is down. This is what it looks like after 36 hours from that burn from a day and a half ago. So I don't know if you can see that, but there's a big hole at the back there. Yeah, you can see the coals there. So I'm gonna stoke this up after 36 hours. You're using percentages on filling a stove, I'm going to call this, on my stove anyways, I'm going to call this probably 80% full, 75-80% full. So I'm going to throw this back on, This is about, oh, I don't know, this has got to be 5 o'clock. About the time I get off work and get home. We'll check it in the morning, but I won't stoke it. We're going to turn this boiler back on. You can see it's sitting at 339 and 450. So you can see the flue temperature climbing. It's at 390. '70 means it's running at 120, 125%. The fan speed's running. As it gets closer to that 450, it'll start ramping down, I believe is how it works. I've got it set for 450, where I'd like my flue temp to be at. Approaching 440. So I would expect the fan speed to start coming down now. You can see it is coming down. So the fan speed is ramping down, trying to keep that flue temperature close to that 450. So it seems to have stopped around 463. Yeah, so I'll let that. Well, in conclusion, what did I think of the Boiler Commander? I think it has some real potential. I had it for about a month. I didn't have it in real cold Canadian weather. It was a fairly warm month when I had it. I think something like this would be more advantageous to a less efficient stove, like the BL3444 that I have in the background is a fairly efficient stove to begin with. And I found that in my short time that I had it, I was probably saving about 15% on burn times. I think that would change in colder weather. You know, I think that might go up a little bit. I'm not sure. The one thing that I really liked about it was it changed my routine. It changed my routine from stoking twice a day to once a day. Before I was kind of stoking according to the weather. If it was going to be a warmer day, I wouldn't throw as much in, or if it was going to be a nasty minus 40-degree day, I would stoke it right up. But with the Boiler Commander, I found that, and after talking to the guys, I found that just stoke the stove up. I usually stoke it between that 80-90%. Let the Commander do its thing and just stoke it once a day. And I was able to do that quite easily in March. Thus, the weather wasn't that cold though. And then cleaning ashes, I more or less worried about maybe trying to get a little bit of a coal bed, and I have a little bit of experience with the gasification. So you get those coal beds, you get a lot less smoke happening. You get a lot hotter temperatures where that Commander can keep the flue temperature down when you have a good coal bed. So that's something I never really got a real good chance to build up a consistent coal bed in the month of March in the short period that I had it. So overall, is it easy to operate? Like everything else, there's a little bit of a learning curve, but yes, like the settings were fairly simple. I think I'm looking at Joe and Travis here right now. A schematic would have helped me quite a bit when I put it in, but you guys were great for troubleshooting and get me through it. So if I was to put another one in, it would be a breeze. It wouldn't be a problem at all. But overall, I think there's some potential for this. I was not paid to take this thing on. I'm not being subsidized. I run this channel because of what Airbnb behind me, because I enjoy making videos and because I enjoy trying new things. So If you have any questions, comments, fire them in the comment section below. Between me and some of the guys, we should be able to answer them. Until next time, as always, stay safe, and we'll see you later.
Ever felt like your family gatherings needed a bit more space and can't turn around without bumping into a loved one?
Yes, hello, Uncle Trevor. We got lots of room for you and Auntie Kim to come stay with us.
Find yourself thinking, maybe next time I'll find an excuse to miss the chaos.
We need the curry loft!
Welcome to the Curry Country Barn Loft on Airbnb, where family gatherings don't mean playing sardines. Book your escape to space and tranquility before Auntie Kim brings her entire knitting club